our channel. World War I, also known as the Great War, was a global conflict that lasted from 1914 to 1918. It was one of the deadliest conflicts in history, with millions of soldiers and civilians losing their lives. The war saw unprecedented levels of destruction and introduced new forms of warfare, including trench warfare and chemical weapons. It involved many of the world's great powers and had a profound impact on the course of history. The major powers included the Allies, such as France, the United Kingdom, Russia, and later the United States, and the Central Powers, including Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. The war's alliances and battles spanned across Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. The war reshaped borders, influenced political systems, and left a lasting legacy on international relations. The Treaty of Versailles, which ended the war, imposed heavy reparations on Germany and redrew the map of Europe. The League of Nations was formed in an attempt to prevent future conflicts, although it ultimately failed to stop the outbreak of World War II. The aftermath of World War I set the stage for significant political and social changes worldwide. The reasons for World War I are complex and multifaceted. Understanding these reasons requires a deep dive into the political, economic, and social landscapes of the early 20th century. Four main factors contributed to the outbreak of the war: militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. Each of these factors played a significant role in creating the conditions that led to the conflict. Militarism involved the arms race and the glorification of military power. Countries invested heavily in their military capabilities, leading to an atmosphere of tension and competition. Alliances between countries created a web of mutual defense agreements. These alliances meant that a conflict involving one country could quickly escalate to involve many others. Imperialism led to competition for colonies and resources. European powers were eager to expand their empires, leading to conflicts over territories and influence. Nationalism fueled desires for independence and dominance. Nationalist fervor often led to aggressive policies and actions, further heightening tensions. The interplay of these factors created a volatile environment. Political leaders and diplomats struggled to navigate the complex web of alliances and rivalries. Ultimately, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary acted as the spark that ignited the war. This event triggered a chain reaction of mobilizations and declarations of war. The world was plunged into a conflict that would last for 4 years and reshape the global order. The reasons for World War I are a testament to the complexities of international relations and the dangers of unchecked nationalism and militarism. The key participants in World War I were divided into two main groups: the Allied powers and the Central Powers. The Allied powers included France, Russia, Britain, and later the United States. These nations formed a coalition to counter the aggression of the Central Powers. The Central Powers consisted of Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. This alliance sought to expand their influence and territory through military might. Prominent leaders and military figures, such as Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany and General John J. Pershing of the United States, played crucial roles. Their strategies and decisions significantly impacted the course of the war. Trench warfare became a defining characteristic of World War I, with soldiers enduring harsh conditions and relentless combat. The human cost was immense, with millions of soldiers and civilians losing their lives or suffering severe injuries. The legacy of these key participants and their sacrifices is remembered through numerous memorials and commemorative events around the world. The end of the war saw the signing of several treaties, most notably the Treaty of Versailles, which aimed to establish lasting peace, but also laid the groundwork for future conflicts. The Treaty of Versailles imposed heavy reparations and territorial losses on Germany, leading to economic hardship and political instability. The aftermath of World War I reshaped the political landscape of Europe, with new nations emerging and old empires dissolving. The League of Nations was established in an effort to prevent future conflicts, though its effectiveness was limited. Despite its shortcomings, the League of Nations laid the groundwork for future international cooperation and the eventual formation of the United Nations. World War I saw several major battles that had significant impacts on the outcome of the conflict. These battles were not only significant in terms of their scale, but also in their strategic importance and the heavy toll they took on the soldiers and nations involved. The Battle of the Marne, the Battle of Verdun, and the Battle of the Somme were some of the most notable engagements. Each of these battles saw unprecedented levels of violence and destruction, with soldiers enduring grueling conditions and facing immense challenges. The Battle of the Somme, in particular, is remembered for its staggering number of casualties and the introduction of new military tactics and technologies. The use of trench warfare, artillery bombardments, and the first appearance of tanks marked a significant shift in how wars were fought. These battles were characterized by heavy casualties, strategic maneuvers, and the use of new military technologies. The impact of these battles was felt not only on the front lines but also back home, as nations grappled with the immense human and material costs of the war. The legacy of these battles continues to be studied and remembered, as they played a crucial role in shaping the course of World War I and the world that emerged in its aftermath. Efforts to prevent World War I were made through diplomatic channels and peace initiatives. Various peace conferences were held, and diplomats from different nations met frequently to discuss ways to maintain peace and stability in Europe. These efforts included treaties, negotiations, and attempts to resolve conflicts through dialogue and compromise. However, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary in 1914 set off a chain of events that led to the war. This tragic event in Sarajevo acted as a catalyst, triggering a series of reactions among the major powers of Europe. The complex system of alliances that had been established over the years meant that a conflict between two countries could quickly involve others. These alliances were intended to create a balance of power, but instead contributed to the rapid escalation of the conflict. The failure of diplomatic efforts, despite the numerous attempts to prevent war, ultimately led to the outbreak of World War I. The breakdown of negotiations and the inability to find a peaceful resolution to the tensions in Europe were significant factors in the escalation of the conflict. The war effort was marked by the establishment of multiple fronts. The Western Front, Eastern Front, and Italian Front were the primary theaters of combat. Trench warfare became a defining feature of the Western Front, while new warfare tactics and technologies, such as chemical weapons, aircraft, and tanks, were introduced. The impact of World War I on civilians was profound. On the home front, citizens experienced rationing, propaganda campaigns, and significant societal changes. The war effort required the mobilization of entire populations, leading to changes in labor forces and social dynamics. The aftermath of World War I had far-reaching consequences. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, imposed harsh terms on Germany and redrew national boundaries. The economic impact of the war was devastating, with many countries facing significant reparations and economic hardship. The League of Nations was formed in an attempt to prevent future conflicts. The long-term effects of World War I shaped the 20th century. The war influenced future conflicts, including World War II, and had a lasting impact on international relations. The political and social changes that emerged from the war set the stage for significant developments in the following decades. In conclusion, World War I was a transformative event in history. We have explored its reasons, key participants, major battles, efforts to prevent it, and its aftermath. The legacy of World War I continues to be felt today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more educational content.